Welcome class, myself Professor D.S. Rai, Professor Department of Civil Engineering, BBD ITM, Lucknow. We are taking a course KCE 076 Urban Transportation Planning. Today lecture is 36, in which we will discuss Land Use Transport Planning Part 3. References we have taken Chakravarti Partha and Das Animes, Principle of Transportation Engineering, Papacosta and Prevendas PD, Transportation Engineering and Planning, Kadiali and Lal, Principle and Practices of Highway Engineering, R. Srinivas Kumar, Introduction to Traffic Engineering, S.K. Khanna and Justo, Highway Engineering, and some material have been taken from NAPTEL and internet. The contents today we will cover will be lorry model, sequences of activities in lorry model limitations, and grain model. We will take up one by one. Lorry model. Lorry model incorporated within its structure both generation and allocation of activities. The activities which the model defines are population, service, employment, and these activities corresponds to residential, service and industrial land use. Some of the salient feature of lorry models are: first, it assumes an economic base mechanism where the employment is divided into the basic and non-basic, sectors. Second, the basic employment is defined as that the employment which is associated with industry whose products are largely used outside the region, whereas the products of the surface employments are consumed within the region. Whatever we are producing in a certain region, that may be transported, or the requirement of that product may be far away from this industries. If someone is producing some products in Punjab, it may require in Kerala or in even Tamil Nadu, but in service sector the employment will be within the region, because they are dependent on the services of the people in that area. Whereas the products of the service employment are consumed within the region. It is assumed that the location of the basic industries is independent of the location of residential area and the service centers. D, population is allocated in proportion to the population potential of each zone, and the service employment in the population to market potential of each zone. The next is the model ensures that the population located in any zone does not violate the maximum density or the holding capacity constraint is placed on each category of service employment. The Lorry model relates population and employment at one particular time horizon. These are the conditions of the Lorry models. Lorry models is the model which is widely used all over the world. The original Lorry was published in 1964, and since then several important extensions of the original model has been applied to the practical planning problems that is has had since in 1974. The Lorry model conceived of all major spatial features of an urban area in terms of three broad sectors of activity, and they are basic employment sector, population serving employment, and household sector. So, these are the basic broad sector of activities. What are that? Basic employment sector, the population serving employment, and the household sector. The basic employment is the employment whose products and the services are utilized outside the study area. With the Lorry models, a spatial distribution of a basic employment is located exogenously to the model, while the other two activity sectors are calculated by the model by applying an iterative procedure until the constant, which are a maximum number of household for each zone and the minimum population serving employment for any zone, are satisfied. The Lorry models of metropolis was first attempt to implement the urban land use transport feedback cycle in a operational model. This model views a spatial feature of an urban area in the terms of three broad sector of activity, like we have discussed already: employment in the basic sector, employment in the population serving industry, and household population sector. We have already discussed. So, now come to the sequence of activities in Lorry models. You can see here exogenous allocation of the basic employment, which will be endogenous allocation of the population, in which endogenous allocation of population serving employment. And now come check the constant on the population and the serving employment. If not, then it will go again to endogenous allocation of the population or endogenous allocation of the population serving employment. So, this is the sequence of activities in Lorry models. Come to the Lorry models. What is Lorry models? We have discussed many things. The models can be expressed in terms in the following system of equation, that is P is equal to E into A. This is the first equation, and the second equation is e to the power s will be equal to P into B. This is the second equation, and the third equation is E is equal to e to the power B plus e to the power s. This is the third equation, where P is the row vector of population or the household within each of the n zones. E is equal to a row vector of a total employment in each zone. E to the power s is a row vector of a population serving employment in the zone. E to the power b is the row vector of basic employment in the each zone. So, A will be equal to and n into n matrix of the workplace to household accessibility. B is equal to and n into n matrix of household to service center accessibility. The accessibility matrix A may be expanded as A is capital A is equal to Aij dash into Aj. This is the fourth equation, where Aij dash will be equal to and n into n a square matrix of probability of employees working in I and living in zone J. Aj is and n into n diagonal matrix of the inverses of the labor participation rates, expressed either as a population per employee or household per employee. The accessibility index, accessibility matrix B may be explained as B is equal to Bij dash into Bj. This is the equation 5, where Bij dash is n into n a square matrix of probability that the population in J will be serviced by population serving employment in I. Bj is equal to an n into n matrix, diagonal matrix of population serving employment to population ratios. The Aij dash elements of A matrix may be estimated empirically in the following way, that is Aij dash will be equal to Hj Fij to the power w divided by sum over j Hj Fij to the power w, where Hi is equal to a measure of attractivity of zone J for the household location. Fij to the power w, travel time factor between zone I and J, which reflects the manner in which a spatial separation of zones influence the residential location choices of the employees. Equation 6 will be recognized as gravity type accessibility expression. Bij dash elements may be estimated empirically in manner similar to that described above in Aij dash. It is useful to disaggregate service employment into R type, which where the expression becomes B I j dash B I j dash will be equal to S I to the power r f I j to the power S r divided by sum over I f I to the power r f I j to the power S r. Where S I to the power r is equal to a measure of attractivity of a zone I for satisfying the service type or need of the household. F I j to the power S r is equal to the travel time factor between zone I and zone j, which reflects the manner in which a spatial separation of a zone influences the type R services, location choice of household. Now, come to the zonal constraint. The following constant are to be satisfied by the above set of equation. So, here P is equal to less than or equal to P to the power C and E to the power S r should be greater than or equal to E to the power S r minimum, where P to the power C is a row vector of population holding capacity of each of the n zones. E to the power S r minimum, a row vector of the population serving the employment threshold for the R service employment type considered to be the viable for any zones. There is a notes, if the equation 8 and 9 are violated, then the new accessibility matrices must be developed and the equation set 1 to 3 solved again using a new matrices. Now, come to the Lorry model's limitations. Nothing is perfect and it has certain limitations. It is a notably a static model, it is not a dynamic model, but the transportation system as city is growing with a dynamic model. This is the main defects of the Lorry models, which does not tell anything about the evolution of the transportation or a land use system. Current economic changes are in service non-basic sectors forming the foundation of urban productivity and the dynamic in many metropolitan areas. In such cases, the model is likely to be inaccurate, and to overcome this issue, consider some non-basic service employment as a basic. And this is the main thing. Some non-basic services are considered as a basic for the better model development. The Lorry model does not consider movement of a freight in urban areas, which are very significant and have impact on the friction of a distance. This is the main drawback or limitations of the lorry models, where the movement of freight is not coming anywhere in the urban area. The check indicates that the co-distribution of employment and household is not in equilibrium. If there is inconsistency in the allocation, again the accessibility matrices A and B are to be developed by re-estimating A I j dash and B I j dash value using empirical equation. The household vector and the population serving employment vector should be recalculated with the new accessibility matrices, and this procedure is to be iterated until predicted or the observed value of total employments are equal. The household vector and the population serving employment vector should be recalculated with the new accessibility matrices. This procedure is to be iterated until predicted and the observed value of the total employment are equal. What the main drawback of lorry models is not considering freight in the urban area, because all activities, all commercial activities, all other activities are very much dependent on the freight, and lorry models is not considering a freight. So, this will affect the land use model. Though this is widely used model, this lorry models is now improved by Garin's model. Garin's express the fundamental lorry algorithm in a matrix format in 1966. Using this notation, the iterative process used by lorry to generation population serving employment was replaced by elementary matrix operation to obtain an exact rather than an approximate solution. So, this is the Garin's model. The Garin's formulation does not comprehend the constraint which lorry imposed. Neither the maximum size constraint for population serving employment nor the maximum density constraint for the residential development was included in matrix operation. Because land use models, in the land use models, lorry models are widely used, but the main defect or main drawback of the Lorry model is not considering freight in the urban area, which is main activity in the urban area. But still Lorry models is widely used model as a land use. Thank you very much. Thank you.